Hey guys, welcome back to another edition. This is episode number 2 of the Holiday Slay series. And since I can't play music because I don't want people claiming my video, I'm going to sing for you. Oh, the weather outside is frightful and the fire is so delightful. And since we've no place to go, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. Christmas is like my favorite time of the year. Welcome. Today, I'm super excited because we are diving into one of the most powerful strategies that we use in my community. And I want to drop a truth bomb on you. So I'm going to call this truth bomb number 552. Successful entrepreneurs are not fearless. I'm going to say that again. Boom. Successful entrepreneurs, they don't move around the world without fear. They're not fearless. They're not perfect. And the fact is, you probably know someone right now whose website is wickety whack. It used to be me. And you might know somebody who you feel is far less capable than you are, who is living the life and getting the results that you desire, or killing it in their business, doing exactly what it is that you do in your business. And so I want to talk about, today we're going to talk about like this number one mistake that a lot of people make, and it's the enemy of your success. Before I do that, I'm Shamika Tankerson, and I want to welcome you to the Holiday Slay series. So I have a question for you. Do you want to build massive success fast in your business? If you don't, you probably should stop listening. If you do, you're in the right place. And what I want to tell you is doing that, building massive success fast is simple. It's very, very simple. And here's the thing that I'm going to tell you that helps you to do that. Don't aim for perfection. Don't aim for perfection. You're like, what? Don't aim for perfection. Okay, listen. I've spent a lot of time in my business working on strategies. And one of the things I've mastered is being able to move in imperfect action, speedy, imperfect action. I'm going to tell you some stories today about how this shows up in my business, but I make money even when things aren't perfect. I make money even when things aren't right. I am able to serve my clients from where I am today. And so if you're trying to get things perfect, it'll usually keep you stalled. So during today's session, I'm going to share with you what to do instead of trying to aim for perfection that's going to get you more clients, more revenue, more zeros in your bank account, and that's going to get you rapid results to the tune of millions. It's what we do inside of my community that gets us rapid results to the tune of millions for not just me, but also for my clients. So here's what I want you to understand. I'm not just talking out of the side of my face. My company has driven over $1.8 million in sales since October. I'm going to say that again. This year, since the month of October, we have driven over 1.8 million in sales. You heard me right. And it's not just me. You know, a lot of people out there can tout their own results, but their clients are not in the game with them. They are the only ones winning. And that's not the case in my camp. So in fact, during my last round of Play Big, which is my 90-day income accelerator, my clients created over $2 million in just 90 days. So how do we do this? I'm going to share with you today one of our biggest secrets to rapid expansion and rapidly accelerated revenue today. Before I do that, I want to invite you to do something with us. There's 2 things that we're doing during this month. We kicked it off yesterday. There's about 24 days left in the year. So the first thing is this: commit to doing a daily sales challenge. Now, the daily sales challenge is this. It's just you making an offer every day. What I find is most entrepreneurs aren't successful in their business, or they're not making the money they want because they're not offering enough. Here's what the daily sales challenge looks like. There's nowhere for you to check in. There's nowhere for you to opt in. It's just you making this commitment to do this on your own. You are making an offer somewhere in your world to someone or someone's every single day. So it can be a post on your social media page that says, here's a thing that I'm offering, book a call, buy this thing. You can go in Messenger and make an offer to a single person. You can send an email blast out. You can send a single email blast. You can do it in your group. You can do it via live stream, but every day in some way, shape, or form, you are making an offer. You are inviting someone to buy from you or to take the next step with you, either someone or multiple people at a time, every single day, all the way up to the end of this month, all the way up to December 31st. That's the first half. The second half of the invite is this: I'm doing my part and I'm inviting you to do the cash creation course with me. I am gifting 150 free spots to my course. And I want to let you know that 30 seats are already gone. Here's the deal. 150 spots. I'm going to walk you through. I've decided to make this a week-long course. So you're going to spend a week with me, and I'm going to walk you through the strategies and methods that we use inside of my paid programs that help us to rapidly bring in revenue in our business. Most people focus on the wrong things, that perfection, that good branding, that perfect website, all of those things that you're focused on. And so I'm going to teach you those step-by-step strategies, the laser focused things that we focused on during this month. Anyone who needs this, or anyone that you know that would just simply, that's a business owner, that would simply love to just create momentum into the new year. So I want to tell you a quick story about 2020. Now, 2020 was a rough year for a lot of people, but for me, it ended up being one of the biggest years of my business. And 2020 was the year I crossed $1 million. Now, this is about not aiming for perfection, right? And creating momentum into the new year. When I started 2020 out, I knew that I wanted to cross $1 million, but when I looked up in February, I was nowhere near on track. Now, if you know your numbers, $1 million a year, you would need to make $83,333 a month to make that happen. When I looked up the end of February, beginning of March, I was not there. I hadn't made six figures every single month at that point in time. Now, that was at the decision that I made, the decision to begin to do it. And my first six-figure month wasn't until April. So a lot of people look at where they are and they think, okay, I'm nowhere on track, so I'm just going to choose a different goal, or I'm going to do something different. And what ended up happening is I began to make a decision that this is how I want to show up, and this is the revenue that I want to generate, and I'm going to do six figures every single month. Now, I didn't do it in March, but I did it in April, May, June, all the way up to November, actually all the way up till August. Was it August or September? Either August or September. I only made like $30,000 in September or August. And I was like, oh my gosh, I was on this six-figure month streak and it didn't happen. But I just kept going, right? How the money was coming in so that you can see what it takes to make six figures a month in your business, and that it didn't take a whole lot of sales. And so fast forward, we go to October. October ends up being a six-figure month. And then November ends up being $1 million month. And I'm like, shut the front door. What do you think got me there? What do you think got me there? Because in January, February, and March, I was nowhere near on track to cross $1 million. What got me there is this powerful word that I'm going to tell you. What to focus on instead of perfection is momentum. Instead of focusing on perfection, you want to focus on momentum. Quick story. Everything has lag time, guys. Everything has lag time, even your success. So think about it. If you knew that if you were to eat a cheeseburger, immediately you would gain 5 pounds, nobody would eat a cheeseburger. But the reason why we do, because cheeseburgers taste so good, or cake, eat the cake anime, or cake or whatever, is because there's a lag time, right? It doesn't show up on the scale immediately, but it shows up over time. And the same is true of your results. There is a lag time to your results. And the reason why only 50% of business owners ever cross $25,000 a year, one of the reasons why, and only, I think it's like 2%, or it might even be 1% ever cross $1 million. And even fewer than those do it again. People don't do $1 million over and over again once they hit $1 million. Some people can't do it. It's because they look at what's in front of them and they expect immediate results. So you show up on social media one time and you make an offer and it doesn't work. And then you go, oh, that didn't work. Or you show up for a month or 30 days, and then you're like, man, but I didn't make enough. I didn't make my $83,000 this month. So something must be wrong. And then you go work on something else. No, there's lag time, even in results. So what you need is to stay consistent and do it over and over again, because what's going to create that type of results for you is momentum. Momentum is what creates the results. You get better and better and better at it, and you're picking up traction and steam, and you're creating more visibility, and people are seeing you more often and gaining that trust. And then when you begin to make offers, they begin to buy. So momentum is what we want to focus on. What you need in order to have that kind of momentum, when you understand that there's lag time to the results that you're trying to create. I hope you guys are understanding me and listening to me and picking this up, because this is a powerful lesson that will change everything if you can stick with it. It takes courage, right? You must be courageous to continue to go, even though what you see with your eyes is not there yet, because here is the reality. The results that you're seeing today are a product of the actions that you've taken before. It's a product of the decisions that you've made previously, not today. It's a product of the previous knowledge that you had, not who you are today, not your leadership today. So today you're listening to me and you're like, oh my gosh, I want to be consistent. You're not going to see these results until the future. You're going to see them in the first quarter. So everything you're creating right now is based on who you've been. Most people don't look at their life that way. They don't look at the creation in their business that way. And so what happens is you work today. And then next week you look up and go, well, I haven't booked any sales calls. No one's buying my program. And so then you stop and you make a new decision. What if you continued in the momentum of the you that you're deciding to be today? Like those of you who said yesterday, I'm all in on the daily sales challenge. Great. Continue to do that. Even if you make sales this month, when you make sales this month, when you make money this month, the bulk of that money is coming later from the results that you have today. When you have this understanding that momentum is, it's this, money follows momentum. Money follows momentum. So if you want to have an incredible 2022, it starts right now. Heck, it actually started last month, but it definitely is starting right now. So you can't wait until January to get started. Start creating and gaining momentum now. That's why we're doing the daily sales challenge. That's why we're also doing the cash creation crash course the last week of this year going into the new year, because we want to create momentum. Here's your word for the day, right? I'm going to say this again because I want you to write this down, and the realization that has helped me to completely transform my business and to transform the lives and the businesses of many of the people that I work with is that money follows momentum. Money follows momentum. Write that down, post it somewhere. Money follows momentum. So your ability to create momentum is so incredibly important. And perfection is the enemy of that. Because when you're in perfection, you're standing still. You're trying to figure it out instead of just going. So you want to create momentum so you can have money, so you can add those zeros to your bank account. Perfection is the enemy if you want to grow your business. Perfection is the enemy of possibility and profitability. Momentum is what we want to focus on. 30 people who registered as of yesterday. I'm giving away 150 seats. If you've been in the Cash Creation Crash Course before, we have been over time using the same group. We're doing a new pop-up group for this. It's fresh. So if you want to be in, you're going to have to register for it. We start December 28th. You're going to spend a week with me. So one, we're doing the daily sales challenge. So every day you're making an offer to someone or someone somewhere in the world. Plus, you're going to do the Cash Creation Challenge, which is the last week of this month. I've added a few days of support. We usually do 4 days. We're going to do an entire week. We're going to do, actually, let me do the math. It's 7. So we're going to do about 10 days together. So for a full, let's say, week and a half together, we are going to focus on creating momentum into the new year. And I'm going to be taking you through the methods that I have used that have helped me to collapse time and resulted in over $1.8 million in sales just in the last 90 days. Heck, it hasn't even been 90 days yet, since October. Here's the thing, because last year, this time when I was reporting, how these strategies helped my business, I was saying that it helped me to create $1.5 million in the last 12 months. This year, I'm telling you that I created $1.8 million in like 60 days, right? It's bananas, but it's focus and intentional action. The methods that I'm going to share with you cut through the weeds of all the things you think you should be doing and help you to focus on what's actually going to help you to make money. So go to letsmakemoresales.com. Join us for that day because we will make money. Last year we did this. We made over $300,000 in just 4 days time using the 4 strategies. All right. So you don't want to miss the cash creation challenge. Again, letsmakemoresales.com. Here's what successful entrepreneurs know and what I've learned how to do is I've become very comfortable with feelings like fear, inadequacy, and taking action anyway. I have learned that I could still be figuring something out and still show up in my brilliance, in the level of brilliance that I have at the level that I'm currently at. That is something you want to become very, very comfortable with doing. It doesn't negate your badassness to not have all the answers or to not have something that looks perfectly incredible like you think it's supposed to look. It's actually in the action that you will perfect it. I perfected all of my programs. I've been teaching and leading these same programs for 6 years now, probably going on 7 years. And doing them over and over and over again has helped me to get them going like a well-oiled machine. But I had to have the courage to not get it right first. And so that is what we're going to get a handle on today. I want to give you 3 tips to get off the perfection freight train that you're currently on. And I want to give you what to focus on instead of perfection so that you can smash every single goal that you set for yourself in 2022. I want that for you. When I do this for myself, it blows my mind, yes, but it's also absolutely freaking incredible for me that I can say something with my mouth and just do the damn thing. You know, when I look at my event, the numbers don't make sense to most people, but because I'm laser focused on the right things, like I'm not looking to have 1,000 people at my event who don't really care to be there or they're there for someone else because I'm letting somebody else headline the event. We had 175 people in the room. When I made my offer, we sold a little over 200 tickets, 175 people in the room. We made $1 million. Last year, we had 125 people in the room. We sold about 180 tickets, 125 people in the room. We made $750,000. In order for most people to have $1 million event, they need hundreds of people in the room, like 500 to 1,000. Why does this work differently for me? Why are my clients having 6-figure events with a handful of people in the room? Why is this happening? Because we're okay with imperfect action. We're okay with showing up in our power. And so let me give you those 3 things that I want you to focus on. Here's the 3 things I want you to focus on. Instead of focusing on being perfect and feeling like you got to go learn this thing and that thing and take this class and that class and pile more onto what you do. And you got to learn, Clubhouse and Instagram and Reels and what else is out right now? TikTok. Like everybody's telling you all the places where you got to go to make money. And all of those places are fine. There's more than one way to skin a cat, right? I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but there's a lot wrong with spending most of your time in the learning of all of those strategies instead of the doing of the things that creates revenue. And the things that I'm going to tell you to focus on instead that will help you create momentum. Most of the reasons why people do a lot of those things is because they're in this space. So the first thing I want you to focus on is your enoughness crown, your enoughness crown. This is a crown you put on your head that says, I'm enough right now. I don't need to learn anymore. I don't need to get another certification. I don't need to show up differently, dress differently. I am enough right now. So you want to put on your enoughness crown. First things first, you are enough, period. I don't even need to add anything else to that. And the moment you realize this, that's when the magic begins in your business. You're not stuck at your current level because you're not smart enough, good enough, pretty enough, skinny enough, expert enough, certified enough, or because you're not ready. That is not why, because you can feel it in your spirit. You're over ready for that next level. But it's likely because you aren't taking those big, bold, courageous actions that will lead to the greatest results. And the reason why we don't do that is because we feel like we're not enough, we're not ready. And so here is a mantra that I want you to put on. I will share it often. It is one of the things that I hold closest to my heart. And it's this: I am enough for who needs me next. I am enough for who needs me next. For right now, I know enough, I have enough for the person who shows up who needs me, who's willing to invest $10,000, $20,000, $50,000, $100,000 to work with me. Right now, the embodiment of my leadership and who I am right now, how I show up in my business is enough for them. I will grow to the next level and the next level and be enough for the next person who needs me next. But right now, for the person who needs me in this moment, I'm all the way enough. Even with my goofy Christmas gear, all of those things, I am enough for who needs me next. I am enough for who needs me next. Second one, you want to focus on the power of your words. You want to heed the power of your words, not someone else's. See, oftentimes we look for other people to validate our brilliance, to validate our badassness, to put us on their stages. I was stuck in that place for a long time. Then I just started creating my own stage. I'm going to show up for who needs me. I'm not waiting on the invitation to the big kids playground. I'm not waiting on the invitation. And now we're creating our own community where money circulates and we have our own place, right? But until I let go of wanting to pick me, be seen by the people who look like they were ahead of me. And I do this look like because come to find out, most of them weren't where I thought they were. Still aren't, right? And so one thing that you want to focus on is the power of your words, not someone else's words validating you. Your words have power. Words are insanely powerful. Your words are insanely powerful, and your life follows your words, not mine. I can believe all day long, but until you do, until your words come in alignment with who you believe you are in the world, nothing else matters. And the trick to this is what I see is a lot of people in the outside world claiming to be badass, but when they're home alone by themselves, when the cameras are off and the social media closes off, what they're really saying to themselves is, I'm not enough. I can't figure this out. I don't got this. So it doesn't matter who you pretend to be in the world. You got to be in your secret spaces and the conversations that you have with yourself, because what you say about yourself to yourself is what matters most. That is when your words have the most power. Doesn't matter what you're telling us in every social media post or on the live streams that you do. Doesn't matter what you're doing in your TikTok reels and all of your things showing how great you are. But when you lay your head on the pillow at night, if you don't believe it, nobody else is going to believe it either. And your results are a reflection of your words. Words are powerful tools of creation. In fact, I have a powerful belief that your voice, your words are the most powerful income creation tool on the planet. Let me prove it to you. Scientists have studied all matter, atoms, which make up all matter, right? Atoms is what we're all made up of. The desk that I have right here is made up of it. The microphone that's right here that I'm tapping on, everything you see is made up of matter. Everything. Of atoms. And so they said, okay, let's take this atom and let's look at it and see, when we break it down and we get to the very nucleus of that atom, what will we find? What do you think they found? When you break down an atom, again, which is what everything in the world is made up of, even your goals, the money you want to see in your bank account, all of those things. When you break it down to the very, very, very last particle, what they found was a sound wave. That is how powerful your voice is. Creation happens in sound. Your words can either be powerfully dangerous or powerfully positive. Either way, it's potent. Watch what you say about yourself to yourself. Forget what you're saying in the presence of other people. Check yourself with yourself. You've got to squash that inner critic that keeps you playing small, sitting on the sidelines and stuck in the wheel of perfection. During the next year, as 2022 rolls around, you want to become very aware of how the words you are saying show up in your life. Right? How the words "what if" show up in your life. Instead of "what if it doesn't work? What if no one doesn't buy? What if it works? What if I could have $1 million a month? What if I actually did $2 million in like 90 days? What would life be like then? So look at how the words "what if" show up in your ego or your inner critic or your inner demons. You know what I'm talking about. It's that nasty little voice in your head that makes you feel like throwing in the towel or giving in or crawling under a rock or hiding or waiting for the right time. And that can go on for days, weeks, months, or years. This just happened to me. So if you guys been following me for any amount of time, you know that I just released a 6-figure offer. And it's the first offer that I've created in probably 6 years. I've been selling the same thing for the past 6 years. And I had a knowing that I was going to create this offer back in like May, June of 2021, this year. And I kind of leaked it to my clients that I was thinking about doing it at our client retreat back in June when we were in Cabo San Lucas. And I was like, okay, I'm going to release this in 2022. And here's the deal. The only reason why I was like secretly sharing it with them and kind of tiptoeing around pushing the release of it into 2022 is because my inner critic was having a conversation with myself. Are you really ready to serve at that level? Right? What are you going to put in it? All of this stuff, right? And I woke up one day in October, started a program with one of my coaches, and I don't know, something inside of me just got really inspired. And I got the courage to know that I was waiting because I was waiting for permission to make that offer. I was waiting on somebody to validate that I was ready to serve at that level. And I knew that I already was. I was just scared. And so I had to put my big girl pants on and talk to my inner critic and go, you know this stuff. It's your life. It's why you continually keep collapsing timelines and making money faster and faster and faster and faster, blowing your own mind with the results you're creating. And there are people out there who want that same experience and that level of mentorship from you, that level of holding them through that process that you've just taken yourself through again and again and again and again. And that day, I made the first 6-figure offer and there was a yes. And then I posted about it and there was another yes and another yes and another yes. We're 4 people into this program now with another person being interested in it. Something that I was going to wait till after May 2022 to offer because I wanted to do all the branding stuff and show myself on the private jets, that we are flying in and all of that stuff, thinking that's what was needed in order to sell it. But the reality of it is this, just like I told you guys in the step before this, I'm enough for who needs me next. So instead of focusing on feeding the illusion of my mini me, the illusion of perfection, the person who thinks all these boxes have to be checked, Shamika, in order for us to do the next level thing, I trust that I have all that I need for my next step. Number 3, instead of focusing on perfection, you got to recognize that comparison is an absolute thief. Even comparison to what you created before. I'm going to go back to my event this year. I caught myself. This was probably around September, October of this year. My event happens every year in November. Comparing myself to myself. What if you don't do $1 million month in November? Because it was magical to do it last year. I hadn't intended on doing it. What if you don't? And I had to get to the point where I realized I was in comparison, not just other people, but with myself. What are people going to think if you don't do $1 million again or whatever? And I just had to let that go. And you know what I was able to say? What if I don't? Remember, pay attention to how what if shows up in your life. What if I don't? It's okay. I'm still changing people's lives. I still have an incredible footprint on this planet. The ripple effect is so powerful. What my clients are creating, not just from what I'm doing with them, but because of the work that I do with them, what they do with their own clients, my clients get incredible results. The work we do is powerful. I had to come into agreement with myself that it's okay because I'm not recreating the same thing. I'm creating something new. And guess what we did? We created something new. Last year, we did $750,000. This year, we did $1 million from the stage. Handful of people. Same premise, same principle. But it wasn't because I was in comparison. It was because I was willing to let go. I was okay if we didn't do it. How many of you are okay with not hitting a $20,000 a month again this month? Because I would promise you that even comparing to yourself, holding on to that, I got to do it again. I'm going to be embarrassed if I don't do it again. It's rooted in lack, and that will push it further and further away from it. What if you just allowed, right? What if you just own your own gifts and talents, your own superpowers, trust them, put them out there, and that it really doesn't matter what you did the month before or last year or what anybody else is doing. You just get to be you, period. Because here's the truth. Y'all put a lot of pressure on yourselves. And if you're following me, I know this about you. There's nothing ordinary about you. You're extraordinary. And you're probably barely scratching the surface of what you're really, really capable of. And even though you're comparing yourself to other people, your level 5 is other people's level 10, 11, 20, extraordinary. You haven't even been fully unleashed yet, mostly because you hold yourself back. Because people tell you don't do that. Don't be that powerful. Don't be that confident in your skill set, even though you are, right? And so here you are comparing yourself to other people who are working twice as hard just to do what you currently have. Here are the examples when you know that this is you, that you're an extraordinary anomaly, a phenom, just in general. It's not even really even about the work that you do. You're the kind of person that could write papers at the last minute, the night before, and still get an A. Very little effort. You can get called on to give a big speech at the last minute, like really on the spot in the room. Hey, can you talk about this? And knock it out of the freaking park. People singing your accolades every step of the way. And what you know right now as you listen to the sound of my voice is that you're not accomplishing anywhere near what you are capable of. And yet everyone around you believes that you are killing it. And guess what? You are. And it's time that you owned it and give yourself that credit. Stop the comparison, lessen the need for perfection, and just be your extraordinary self. Just be your plain old ordinary self, because that's most people's extraordinary anyway. All the searching and comparing that you're doing is actually stopping you from creating the results that you desire. So I'm going to say it again. We want to start creating momentum, and perfection is the enemy of that, right? Start creating momentum now. Oh, I got to get this ready. I got to put this landing page up. I got to do all these things. I crossed $1 million, like minimal funnels, a little amount of technology, mostly Messenger, live stream, Facebook. That's it. Your job as an entrepreneur is to create momentum in your business because money follows momentum. I could easily charge $1,000 for you to do this. I'm going to work with you for an entire week on creating cash flow in your business. You're going to work with me for an entire week, and I'm going to be sharing with you the smartest ways that I know how to do this so that you can finish this year strong and smash every goal you have for 2022. All right. So we're coming together for the final week of December, the 28th. We're going to take you all the way through January 7th. And I'm going to teach you my methods that have brought in over $3 million in the last 16 months. It blows my mind to even say that. We've driven over $3 million in the last 16 months, with 1.8 million of that coming in just since this last October. Go to letsmakemoresales.com. Let me recap really quickly for you. The enemy to your success in 2022 is perfection. Instead of focusing on perfection, you want to focus on creating momentum, because momentum is what's gotten me to collapse time over and over and over again. Okay? And in order for you to do that, you're going to have to focus on 3 things to get off the perfection freight train. 1, put on your enoughness crown. We talked about the mantra that I am enough for who needs me next. Number 2, heed the power of your own words. What you say about yourself to yourself is what matters most. So instead of focusing on feeding the illusion of perfection, trust that you have all that you need to take your very next step, and then take it, because that's where momentum is created. And the last thing that we talk about is recognize that comparison is a thief. And it's not just about comparing to other people. It's also about comparing yourself to yourself and your past goals and where you think you should be by now. All of those things, comparison will rob you of it will rob you of rapidly accelerating your income. It will rob you of every desire you have on your heart. Period. End of story. Grab your spot for the Cash Creation Crash Course. We'll be back for episode 3 of this Holiday Slay series. And I'm going to be talking to you about the highest converting Facebook posts that I make, what's included in them, how they work, and why. Because I want you to be able to get your eyes focused on what's going to work to drive you the most revenue in the next 24 days. By the time we come there, it'll be 22 days. Go to letsmakemoresales.com. Again, 30 spots have already been taken. I am only gifting 150 spots to the crash course. Hopefully I will see you there. See you guys. Thank you so much for watching my show, my channel. Here's what I want you to do. If you really love what you've been listening to, I want you to subscribe to my channel and leave me a comment. No, really, leave a comment. Like right now. I'm not gonna stop talking until you leave a comment. Seriously, leave a comment.